Hi guys, this is CA Shubham Sangvi, and today we'll be discussing the expected value of binomial distribution, that is mean of binomial distribution. Obviously we know the mean of binomial distribution is equal to NP, but in this video I'm going to derive it. So to understand the derivation you need to understand four basic points regarding binomial distribution as well as any probability distribution basically. So the first point being that expected value or mean of any probability distribution is given by summation xp. So this is just a simple formula of calculating mean of future different values of a random variable, so which is equal to summation xp. Further, summation of all probabilities, if we take all the possible values of the random variable and add the different probabilities of the random variable, so the addition of all the probabilities must be equal to 1, because since we are covering all the different cases, then the whole probability must be covered, and the whole probability is nothing but 1. Similarly, probability mass function of a binomial distribution, the PMF of a binomial distribution, which defines actually the probability of a random variable being equal to a certain single value, that is basically P of x equal to r, is given by NCR P raised to r into Q raised to n minus r. So many different textbooks follow different notations. I am just giving you the notations which we are going to follow in this video. N is basically the number of trials, so basically the number of times the experiment is going to repeat. Remember, binomial distribution is nothing but when an experiment is repeating again and again, where each experiment will have only two mutually exclusive and exhaustive outcomes, either success or failure. Further, each experiment is independent from each other, rather each trial is independent from each other. So n is the number of trials, r is the number of successful trials or required successful trials, the जिसकी हमें probability निकालनी है. P is the probability of success in one trial. So if we are looking at just one trial, P gives us the probability of success in that single trial. Whereas Q is obviously its complementary, which is probability of failure in the same single trial. So taking these into consideration, and another point, obviously, if this is the probability at a single point, then that point, obviously these the all the different probabilities related to the different values a random variable can assume, if we add all these probabilities, it should be equal to 1. Since binomial distribution is also a probability distribution, and for a probability distribution summation p is 1, therefore summation of this value should be equal to 1. That's what we have just written it here. Summation of NCR into P raised to R into Q raised to n minus R should be equal to 1. Now let's just jump into the derivation of this formula. So for understanding that derivation, I've just taken an example. Let's say there are going to be three different matches between Manchester United and Chelsea. Looking at their current form, Manchester United's probability of winning is 0.7 higher chances, and Chelsea's winning chances are 0.3 in each of the different matches. So it does the basic assumption is the trials or the matches are independent of each other, and these probabilities will be applicable in each of the three matches irrespective of the result in the first, second or third match. Finish. So these will be the probabilities on each of the matches. So if we just construct a binomial distribution over here, just as I have done, so these are the different number of successful matches for Manchester United. So X is a random variable which defines the number of wins for Manchester United. The number of wins for Manchester United. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. These are the different values this random variable can assume. So Manchester United can win either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 different matches. These are the respective probabilities which have been derived from this formula itself, which is the formula for binomial distribution. Obviously, this will be a binomial distribution since the experiment is repeating again and again. The experiment is a match between Manchester United and Chelsea. This is being repeated 3 times. The result of the match can be only these two, either Manchester United can win or Chelsea can win. We are eliminating the possibility of a draw. So anyways, zero point 0.7 is the probability of Manchester United winning, 0.3 is the probability of Chelsea winning. Now, so if we look at the different substitutions in these formulas, we'll get the different probabilities which I have just written down here. Now to calculate mean this is a probability distribution, binomial distribution he have, but it is also a probability distribution. So if you have to calculate mean of this probability distribution, obviously we need to just multiply this, which is the value of x, into the value of probability and add all the different results. We'll get the mean, which should be equal to 2.1, which is nothing but 3 into 0.7, which is n into p. This is what we need to prove in this video. N into P is basically mean, and obviously using this example we can see that the mean will be equal to 2.1, which is equal to N into P. Now what we have done is multiplied the value of X multiplied by the probability it assumes. So this is what we are going to do, but just in general form. So summation X, let me just write it correctly, E of X is basically equal to summation xp. Therefore, mean of a binomial distribution will be nothing but summation x. The value of x is nothing but r multiplied by the probability of x being equal to r, which is nothing but ncr p raised to r q raised to n minus r, where r can assume values from 0 to n. 0 is the minimum number of successful trials, n is the maximum number of successful trials. Now if we just start substituting the different values of r in this, we get 0 into nc0 into p raised to 0 into q raised to n minus 0. This will be the first term, plus the second term will be 1 into nc1 p raised to 1 q raised to n minus 1, and this will go on up to n into ncn p raised to n q raised to 0, basically q raised to n minus n, which will be equal to 0. Now if you observe the first term, in the first term we are multiplying 0 by a term. So multiplication of 0 with any term always results in obviously 0, so this term will obviously get converted into 0. If you convert all the remaining terms again in the format of a sigma notation, which is the summation symbol, if we just convert this into this format again, so our original equation or the original summation symbol will get converted into summation r into ncr into p raised to r q raised to n minus r. The only thing is limits will get changed. R will be from 1 to n. So all we have done up till now is basically eliminated this first term. This first term has been eliminated because this results into 0. The remaining terms and again have been converted in the original format. Now if we just rearrange the terms as follows, summation r into ncr is basically n factorial upon n minus r factorial into r factorial. This is the formula for n combination r, p raised to r q raised to n minus r. Further, summation r into n factorial can be written as n into n minus 1 factorial n minus r factorial as it is. R factorial can be written as r into r minus 1 factorial into p raised to r q raised to n minus r. Also, I'm going to change p raised to r. I'm writing p raised to r as p raised to 1 into q raised to into p raised to r minus 1. So I'm taking one p outside out of p raised to r. So we are multiplying p r times. So just taking outside one p, then the remaining p's will be r minus 1 time. Now, since this n and p both are constants, we can directly take this out of the equation. So n into p summation r, these r will get cancelled out. Let me just show you that r and r will get cancelled out. So the remaining terms will be n minus 1 factorial the whole upon n minus r factorial into r minus 1 factorial p raised to r minus 1 q raised to n minus r. Now All that is left to do is basically to prove this to be equal to 1. Since we know the value of mean is equal to NP, all that's left to do is to prove that this is equal to 1. So now to prove that to be equal to 1, we'll be just using a few more substitutions, such as let n minus 1 be equal to A and r minus 1 be equal to B. Therefore, can I say A minus B will be equal to n minus 1 minus r plus 1, and this minus 1 plus 1 will get cancelled out, and A minus B will be equal to n minus r. So we'll be substituting these two values in the above equation. So this will get us to mean is equal to NP summation n minus 1 factorial. So can I write it as A factorial, the whole upon n minus r factorial, which will be nothing but A minus B factorial, into r minus 1 factorial, which is nothing but B factorial, P raised to A, and Q raised to n minus r. N minus r is nothing but A minus B. This is nothing but NP summation. This can be written as nothing but, this whole thing is nothing but A C R P raised to A Q raised to A minus B. If you observe this formula, this is very similar, rather exactly in the same format of this, the fourth property which we had already written, summation NCR P raised to R Q raised to N minus R is always equal to 1. Therefore, obviously, even this ACR P raised to A Q raised to A minus B, sorry, ACR nahi, let me just change this. This is ACB. ACB P raised to B. So sorry, this will be P raised to B. P raised to B into Q raised to A minus B. So this is exactly in the format of summation NCR P raised to R Q raised to N minus R, which is always equal to 1. So using this, we can easily say that mean is equal to NP into 1, which is equal to NB. So this formula is a bit on a tougher side to understand, but not that much difficult. Obviously, these substitution are a bit confusing. So if you understand this substitution, you should be able to interpret the formula of mean, which is equal to NP. Also, it is very easy to interpret this formula in a general sense. Let's say if there are 10 matches between Manchester United versus Chelsea. So if there are 10 matches between Man U and Chelsea, wherein the probability of Man U winning a match is 0.7. So obviously out of these 10 chances, we would expect that Man U will win 7 matches. This is how the probability works. So if the probability of Man U winning a single match is 0.7, then the probability of Man U, the expected value of wins for Man U will be nothing but these 10 matches into the probability, which is 7, which is nothing but n into p. This is how our normal logic works, that if there is a probability that Man U wins a match is zero point 0.7, then out of 10 matches, the expected value that Man U will win, the expected number of matches that Man U will win will be nothing but 10 into zero point 0.7, which is equal to 7. And that is nothing but our formula for mean. So I hope you have understood how this the whole formula has been derived. Anyways, it is very easy to remember. So I hope you'll keep that in mind. Thank you.